welcome back. I've got a watch list suggestion today that I am super excited about. We were talking about it earlier. And honestly, it really needs no introduction, so just check out this brief clip.
I wonder what would have happened to us had we not gone out when we did.
Our security was being pulled. Everyone in the world knew where we were.
I said, we need to get out of here. We are on the Freedom Flight. To see this institutional gaslighting.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
They were actively recruiting people to disseminate disinformation.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
The rogue royals.
They just wanted to be free. They wanted to be free to love and be happy. I applauded that.
In order for us to be able to move to the next chapter, you got to finish the first chapter.
It gave us a chance to create that home that we had always wanted.
I've always felt as though this was a fight worth fighting for.
Very interesting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is. I've only seen one episode of
Yes.
this. You've seen more than that than I have. And at the very beginning, Meghan talks about like everyone thinks they know our story, so we might as well tell it from our viewpoint. And it's so easy to judge them. It really is. And so, I mean, where's the truth? I don't know. I mean, they obviously have their opinion, and there's always two sides to a story, but it is very insightful.
Absolutely. So a big reason I wanted to talk about this on the show today is not only I think it's a great docuseries. There's 6 episodes. It's on Netflix, of course. And I think I've watched 1 through 4 and then a little bit of 5. So I have like an episode and a half
So you're
left,
getting
right?
close to the end.
Yeah, but the reason I think it's important, not only is it because I think it's an interesting story, but also it's got a lot of people talking on social. There's a lot of varied opinions on it, and a lot of people are actually negatively perceiving it, which is interesting, yeah, because a lot of people kind of think, some people think it's kind of like a pity party. Some people, this was one of the most interesting takes I saw, is that after watching the docuseries, people feel like Prince Harry wanted a way out and Meghan was the way out, and so he just like really clung to that. Which I don't know if I agree with that, nor does it really matter. But it's really interesting. And the thing I think that this docuseries does really well is each episode tackles kind of a different topic or a different maybe season of their relationship. So in the beginning, you kind of learn about the backstory of Meghan, her upbringing, and then how that compared to Prince Harry's, of course.
Yeah, and how they met.
Yeah, you learn a lot about their like kind of origin story, the way they had to be sneaky about it, and then you kind of learn about like their privatized life before it went public. Once it became public, how everything changed overnight, how the royal family perceived her, how her family drama involved in it, which that was another interesting thing. As someone who's followed the royal family for a long time, Meghan, you learn a lot about like her and her dad's relationship, how it was growing up and where it is now, which is interesting because around the time they were getting married, a lot of people may recall that her dad was like totally turning against her, and everyone was like, what is going on?
And he did or didn't attend the wedding?
He did not.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about it is you learn in the series that her and her dad were actually super close growing up. Her parents were separated, but she would spend every weekend with her dad. Her dad is kind of the reason that she really got into like acting and was really interested in like film and TV and stuff like that. But then as soon as she joined the royal family, he totally turned on her and kind of like chose money and the paparazzi and the different headlines, the money he get from it over his relationship with her, which was fascinating. Also,
which I'm sure he has another viewpoint of that, but we don't hear about that.
Right, absolutely.
So.
And of course, there's 2 sides to every story. But one of the other, I think, more fascinating parts of it as well is, of course, everyone knows Princess Diana and the kind of the cultural icon and phenomenon that she was and still is today. And Harry compares a lot of how the press and the family treated Diana to how they treat his wife Meghan, and that
wanting
is
to
super
protect
enticing.
his wife because of what happened to his mom. That really caught me.
Yeah, and then one thing that stands out that I even pointed out to you when we were watching the trailer is he says we're on the Freedom Flight, and I'm like, can you imagine like not abandoning? That's not a good way to put it. Leaving your family behind and literally calling it a Freedom Flight because that's how locked in you feel. Yeah. So I think it's super enticing. They dropped it in 2 sets, so the first 3 came out like 2 weeks ago, and then the second came out last week. At the end of last week, but it's really. Did you like the first episode?
I really did,
Yeah.
and you know, it's not a life he has chosen to be born into, but as a wife marrying into it, you know, it's a bigger decision than getting married.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely,
It's a huge
absolutely.
decision.
Well, and speaking of family, they also touch on kind of how they're raising their kids, which I enjoy because it's way different. So lots of really good insight. If you're interested in the royal family, go check that out. Harry and Meghan on Netflix.
Yep. All right. Well, coming up, one Christmas